Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnur Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nidaye Sarvavidyanam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanadam Shantarupinam Shri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudanvaham Parityajya Maunam Vatadastitincha Vrajan Bharatasya Pradeshat Pradesham Madhusyandi Vacha Janan Dharma Margena Yan Shri Jayendro Gurur Bhati Chitte Namama Shankaran Vakya Vijayendra Saraswati Shri Gurum Sishtamar Garunetaram Sanmati Pradam Sadguru Charanaravinda Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. In Viveka Chudamani, we are learning about steps after Jivan Mukta. So actually the teaching of Upanishads is over. The teaching of Upanishads is long over. What is the teaching of the Upanishads? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. There is only one Sadvastu called as Brahman. There is only one Sadvastu called as Brahman. Jagan Mithya. The entire Jagat. When we say Jagat, it includes our body as well, because that is very, very important. Our body is also a part of Jagat, because it is not Brahman. What is Brahman? Atma is Brahman. The body is a reflector of Atma. So Brahma Satyam, Jagat, the entire Jagat, including our body, is Mithya. Jivo Brahma eva. This Jivaha means what? The Atma, the Aham, the Jivatma, that Atma which I consider as my own self, is Brahma eva, na aparaha. It is not different from Brahman. It is only Brahman. There is absolutely no difference between myself and Brahman. Says Upanishad, says Vedanta. So that topic is already over in Viveka Chudamani. And then Acharya talks about all the accessories for that jnanam. Okay. All the accessories for that jnanam. And he also talks about pratibandhakam for that jnanam. What is pratibandhakam for that jnanam? Jnana pratibandhakam or jnana nishtha pratibandhakam. Now, the first thing Acharya says is pramadaha, carelessness. Pramadaha, pramadam. In Sanskritam, pramadam means carelessness. In Tamil, pramadam means romba nannark. If something is very beautiful, in Tamil we say pramadamark. But in Sanskritam we say pramadamark means they sung in a careless manner. So Acharya gives several examples for why you should keep vigil even after getting the knowledge. See, this is what is very, very important. We, the traditional learners of Vedanta, we have to understand this point, because Mahaperiva talks about this in Deivathan Kural. Even though there are several people who claim to teach and learn Vedanta, people are not doing so in a traditional manner, complains Mahaperiva in his Deivathan Kural. He gives them a name. modern Vedantists அப்படின்னு கொடுக்குறாரு இல்லையா. There English Vedantists, people who teach and learn Vedanta in English. He is not opposed to teaching Vedanta in a particular language. Okay, we are also learning Vedanta in English. He is not opposed to teaching or learning Vedanta in this language. But what he is opposed to is the mentality of many people who learn Vedanta through English. That is why he talks about them in a very, in the way. He tells them that, okay, English Vedantam, English Vedantakara, அப்படின்லாம் பேசுவார் தெய்வத்தின் குரல். We should be very, very careful not to follow that thing. Okay, we are not doing that, but we should be extra careful because it is said by by Mahaperiyava in his Devathin Kural. People who learn Vedanta just as an academic knowledge. Vedanta is not for gaining academic knowledge. Okay, Vedanta is for gaining Atma Jnanam. If your goal is Atma Jnanam, then study Vedanta. If your goal is to get a BSc degree, MSc degree, PhD degree, do not come to Vedanta. There are several avenues are there, to get degrees. Okay, so do not come to Vedanta. Vedanta is for getting Atma Jnana. That is why in many universities they will never give Advaita as a degree. There are several other philosophies which has been given as degrees in universities, but Advaita, thank God, till now has not been given as a degree in many universities because there is no use of that degree. We study physics, chemistry. What is the use of physics, chemistry, biology that we study? No use. In the same way, Advaita Vedanta, if you study as a degree, no use. It has to be realized. Advaita, it is a realizational science. Advaita Vedanta, as it deals about your own self, right? It is a realizational science. And when we study Advaita Vedanta, you have to follow the rules and regulations associated with the Advaita Vedanta. Okay. We cannot just say, okay, morning 9 to 10, I study Advaita Vedanta. From 10:30 onwards, I go out, eat biryani and come back. The Vedanta will not be of any use to you. Viveka Chudamani itself, Acharya says, you go to a doctor, the doctor will give you medicine. And for some serious diseases, he will not stop with giving medicine. What he does? He will give some food restrictions. He will give some lifestyle changes. And only when we follow the food restrictions, only when we follow the lifestyle changes, the medicine will be of help to you. Otherwise, there is no use of that medicine. Right? Normally, we go, okay, sugar. The doctor will give you some medicine for sugar, insulin. That is the medicine for diabetes. Doctor will give you insulin. But he will also say, okay, you have to walk for at least 1 hour a day. You have to walk at least 5,000 steps or 10,000 steps one day. That is lifestyle change. Food change, you should not eat any sugar. You should not eat any carbohydrates. You should not eat any high-fat food. All these are lifestyle changes and food changes that the doctor prescribes. Even though he gives you medicine for diabetes, even though he prescribes insulin for diabetes, he will also prescribe all these things. In the same way, Vedanta is like that medicine for samsaram, for the disease of samsara. Vedanta is the medicine. There is absolutely no question about it. But just because I study Vedanta, I cannot keep on doing whatever I want to do after studying Vedanta. This will be like maha ajnana. So you have to study Vedanta, you have to study Upanishads, you have to study Viveka Chudamani, you have to keep on gaining that knowledge, and you also have to follow the rules and regulations of Shastra, because the rules and regulations of our Shastra is designed in such a way that it protects you from the influences of sense organs. The rules and regulations that are prescribed in our Shastra, they are not some random rules, not connected with each other. They are not some whims of some sadistic person who wants to deny you of any possible pleasure in your life. It's not so. It is a highly systematic scheme. The rules and regulations that are present in our Shastra, it is a highly systematic scheme which protects you from the influence of the sense objects which we are constantly bombarded by. Especially in this day and age, following the digital revolution, following the food revolution, etc. We are constantly being bombarded by advertisements for this, advertisement for that. Why can't you have this? Why can't you eat this? The sapta amridame sapta madri. There are advertisements. என்னமோ இந்த ஒரு சுகத்தை அனுபவிச்சாதான் அமிர்த சுகத்தையே தேவலோக சுகத்தையே அனுபவிச்ச மாதிரி there are advertisements. We should not fall prey to all those things, says Shastra, because we have struggled this much. We have struggled a lot to get into Vedanta. Durlabam trayamevaitat devanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayaha, says Adi Shankaracharya and Viveka Chudamani. There are three things which are very, very durlabam, which are very, very hard to get. And only with the blessings of Bhagavan we can get that. What are those three things? Manushyatvam, to get to this Manushya Janma. And even more rare, even rarer than Manushya Janma is Mumukshutvam, is that need, is that urge to get moksham. Mumukshutvam is moksha icha. And even rarer than that, I can have moksha icha, but if I don't have a guru, if I don't have a proper guru shastra upadesham, I cannot get moksham, right? So even rarer than that is to get a satsangam where moksha is being discussed as the topic. Moksha is the topic of discussion, not any XYZ. Okay, in other satsangams they are doing this. We should not do that. Even in satsangam there are politics. Even in satsangam there will be politics. Okay, they are doing that. They are doing wrong. The other person is doing wrong. This group are doing this group is doing this. It is completely opposite to Shastra. This may be right, but this will not lead you to moksha. What we are doing is just complaining about other people. We are not uplifting ourselves. So these three are very, very hard, says Shastra. Manushyatvam, to be born as a human being. Mukshutvam, to have a kanksha for moksha, to have an affinity, to have an urge to escape from the sorrows of samsara. Number 3, to get a good satsangam so that we can discuss about moksha, we can study Viveka Chudamani. All these 3 are by Bhagavat Prasada. Only we can attain by Bhagavat Prasada, and we have obtained these things by Bhagavat Prasada. Now Acharya says, do not let all these things to go waste. Because if we let these to go waste now in this Janma, you don't know after how many Janmas you will get all these 3 things again. You won't know after how many Janmas you will get all these 3 things again. So, இப்ப வந்தேனா இப்பவே கெட்டியா புடிச்சுன்றோ அப்படிங்கறார் ஆச்சாரியால் விவேக Chudamani. So he gives several examples. So that we can understand that in our mind. The first example he gives is the Ayurvedic doctor prescribing Pathiyam, the food regulations, the lifestyle changes along with the medicine. That is what I said. If a person has diabetes, the doctor prescribes insulin, the doctor prescribes metformin. All these things will help to bring down the sugar. These are called as medicines. But along with the medicines, the doctor also prescribes some food changes and lifestyle changes. That is one example Acharya gives. Second example Acharya gives is that of a pond. Okay, if you go to very, very old temples in villages, they will have pond. And the top layer of pond will be surrounded, will be covered by moss, pasi, that green thing, algae. The top layer of pond will be surrounded by algae, like moss. And you want to take bath in that pond, what do? You go, or there is some tirthavari, you are going to do abhishekam for Swami. So what do? You just remove all those moss from a particular area. Of course, the pond is very big, you cannot remove moss from all of the pond. What do? You just make a small circle so that you can keep the Astra Deva. When in temples, this process is called as tirthavari. On several auspicious days, the Swami will come. The Swami, he will not come directly. He will send his representatives as Astra Deva. In Shiva temple, it will be like that Trishulam. A small Trishulam will be there. In Vishnu temples, it will be the Sudarshana Chakram. Chakratalvar Parvar. Astra Devar Abdimba, Shivan Govil. In Ambal temple, it will be the Angusham. Angusham ka Ambal Ankwa. Some representatives of that Swami, they will take that Astra Deva, keep it in the keep it in the steps of that pond, and then the Abhishekam will be done. They will take the Astra Deva back. So that is what normally in temples they do. So you go, you see, okay, the pond is entirely covered by moss, pasi, algae. We cannot do Abhishekam in this area. So I'm starting to clean the moss. So I remove the moss. For a small portion of the pond, I remove the moss. I keep the Astra Deva, I do Abhishekam, I went. I take my Swami and then I go back to the temple. Do you know what happens in the evening of the same day? All this thing happens in the morning. In the evening of the same day, even though you have already removed the algae from a particular position, if you come back in the evening, there will be algae in the same position where you have removed. The algae would just cover back. Algae would cover the entire pond back. So whatever the portion you have cleaned, now it will not be clean. So that is what Acharya says. Hey, your mind is like that pond. Our mind is like that pond. The chitta vritti means the modifications of our mind. Vritti means modification. The modifications of our mind, the hankering, the vasana of our mind is like that moss that covers the pond. How much ever you remove the moss, how much ever you remove the algae, it will be removed for some time, but after some time, it is again going to cover back. Right, after some time, the algae is going to come back again for sure. So what can I do? Is there a one-stop solution? Can I spray some chemical so that the algae are gone forever? Shastra says no, there is no like that chemical. Don't use chemical. You have to keep on cleaning your mind. That is the only way. The algae is going to come. Even if you are careless for one moment of time, your chitta vritti will cover. Your chitta vritti will cover your mind. That is why we have several practices in our Sanatana Dharma. That day I was speaking to another person. A colleague of mine who was also spiritually inclined. He also does all the anushtanams, upasanam, etc. We were talking that if you follow all the anushtana, you won't have any time to do anything else. So our rishis have given us a timetable. You have to wake up Brahme Muhurte Utthaya. You have to wake up early in the morning, and immediately after waking up, take bath, and then do Sandhya Vandanam, and then do Upasanam, and then do Agnihotram. So if you finish all these things, it will be 9 o'clock. And then go outside, collect the food for the day, come back to your home by 11 o'clock, again do another snanam, do madhyanikam, do brahma yajnam, do adhityam, vaishwadevam, puja, deva puja, and then eat. By the time you finish everything, it will be 2 o'clock or 2:30 in the afternoon. Take rest for some time, and then again wake up in the evening. If you wake up in the evening, again do snanam, again sandhya vandanam, sayam upasanam, sayam agnihotram, sayam vaishwadevam. Do all these things, and then do some vedadhyanam, and then do some purana shravanam. If you finish everything, it will be 10 o'clock. And then 10 o'clock, you will be sleeping, and the next morning you will wake up. There will be no time for watching TV. There will be no time for checking out Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. There will be no time for gossiping. There will be no time for watching videos in YouTube. There will be no time for Netflix or Amazon Prime. So if we follow Shastra injunctions properly, there will be no time for straying your mind. Your mind cannot even stray anywhere if we follow Shastra perfectly. And the Shastra, through its injunctions, it also says, okay, these days you eat nicely, but these days you don't eat. Okay, so normal days, okay, you have nice food. Shastra does not say, okay, don't eat any food or eat tasteless food. No. Shastra says, okay, eat food which are very, very tasty. Eat food with nice ghee. Eat food with, until you are full. Shastra will give you that, all those things for normal days. But when it comes to Ekadasi, Nirjala Upavasa. When it comes to Pitru Dinam, you don't eat in the evening. When it comes to Sunday or, Masaparapur, the Sankramana day, do not eat in the evening. When it comes to Ramanavami, Krishna Janmashtami, or Shivaratri, do not eat anything. Or as against when it comes to other celebrities like Vinayaka Chaturthi, you eat lot of food. Deepavali, you make lot of food, you eat lot of food. So Shastra allows for enjoying in sense pleasures as well. At the same time, Shastra will also put some rules and regulations so that we can also live without enjoying those sense pleasures. It is there for everything. On Shraddham day, do not watch TV. Nobody follows that today, but that is the Shastric rules. If you have Shraddha, until you finish Shraddha, you should not watch TV. You should not listen to any songs, any movie songs or nothing. Because Pitrus will go away, says Shastram. So on Shahadra day, Shastra says even the sound of a money, that ganta, the bell that we do, right? Even that should not be there, says Shastra. But now what we do, when people are cooking for Shraddham, they will have radio on and cook for Shraddham. Shastra says no. Pitrus will not come, they will go away, says Shastra. Right? And the Karta, he will be reading newspaper, watching TV until the Vadyar comes. According to Shastra, all these things are wrong because that is one day. Your parents are coming. Right? Our parents are coming who have departed. They are going to come to our house for this one day. We have to do that sacrifice on that day. If it is Ekadashi Upavasa day, we should not do all these things. Ekadasi Upavasa is not just about not eating food. It is also about having your sense organs abide by yourself. That is the real meaning of upavasa. Upa samipe vasati iti upavasaha. Upa samipe. The word upa means samipam, near. Vasati, to stay. It is upavasa. Staying near what? Staying near kitchen, so that we can eat food the next day. No, staying near Bhagavan. That is the real meaning of any upavasa, not just the Ekadashi upavasa. Any upavasa means staying near Bhagavan. Staying near Bhagavan, how? Not physically. If you want to stay near Bhagavan physically, you have to go to Kailasa or Vaikunta, right? Or not, in your Swami room. You can carry out whatever you want. You can carry out your daily task, but in your mind, you have to stay near Bhagavan. Your mind has to stay very, very near to Bhagavan. That is the real meaning of upavasa, upasamipe vasati iti upavasaha. So we say, okay, I do Nirjala Ekadashi upavasam, but I keep on listening to movie songs. I keep on watching videos in YouTube. I keep on updating my status in Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. That is not the right upavasa. So on those days, Shastra say, okay, you have to manage your mind. You have to regulate your mind so that your mind does not stray away. All these are spiritual exercises. What is an exercise? You have to keep on training. Training your body is physical exercise, right? All these vratams, all these upavasas are mental exercises. Exercising your mind, spiritual exercises. They make sure that your mind is very clear. That is what means yoga. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Maharishi says he defines yoga as yogaha chittavritti nirodhataha. That is how he defines yoga. Yoga means regulating your mind, chittavritti, removing your chittavrittis. Chittavrittis means modifications of your mind, which gives you hankering for sense pleasures. So chitta vritti nirodhataha means you condition your mind such that it does not go towards the sense objects. Shastra says, okay, why is that important? Abdina, when you come to Vedanta, all these things will help you. Because I have obtained Atma Sakshatkar. I have obtained Atma Jnanam. But if I let my mind to stray away, then there is no use of that jnanam. If I let that mind to stray away, then there is no use of that jnanam. So if I want to make absolute use of the Atma Jnanam that I have obtained, which is so hard to obtain, which I have waited for janmas and janmas and janmas to obtain, now I have to control my mind. Now I have to regulate my mind. I know Atma Jnanam is like that precious diamond stone. Kohinoor diamond. Precious diamond stone. I have obtained that diamond stone. Now it is up to me whether I keep it safe or not. That is what Acharya, about 20 shlokas, he says in one language or the other. Okay, do not let your mind go away. So all these teachings are people who has already obtained Atma Jnana. People who has already obtained Atma Jnanam, Acharya says, do not let your mind to stray away. The sadhana chatushtaya sampatti that we saw earlier, we have to apply here. Because shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhanam, all these things are very, very important here as well. Indriya nigraha, mano nigraha, all these things are very, very important here as well. So with this, Acharya ends that topic for now. And then he goes to the next topic of Kaivalyam. So we all would have heard of this term Kaivalyam. Kaivalya Navanitam. அப்படின்னே ஒரு பேர் உண்டு. ஒரு டெக்ஸ்ட் உண்டு தமிழ்ல. தாண்டவராயன் சுவாமிகள் அப்படின்னு ஒருத்தர் எழுதியிருக்கார். the name of the text is கைவல்ய நவநீதம். So what is கைவல்யம்? Even in Lalita Sahasranama, we saw this name Kevala Guhya அப்படின்லாம் பார்க்கிறோம். கைவல்யம். All these, this term comes in various other texts as well. What is Kaivalyam and what are some of the attributes of the state of Kaivalyam? We will see all these things in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari